On News Prime, President Tinubu billed for United Nations General Assembly to drive investments into Nigeria. CBN gets new governor, management team in furtherance of President Tinubu's economic reforms. Plus, 10 traditional rulers get cars courtesy FCT administration. Hello and a very warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Global TV's News Prime, live in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I am Judith Peters. Now on the news, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu Kazo and Dr. Bala Bello. Still on the news, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will on Sunday depart Abuja for the United States to attend the 78th UN General Assembly, which will take place from September 18th to 26, 2023 in New York City. Our correspondent, Uyi Agbomofoegbe, reports that the president on the sidelines of the UNGA is scheduled to prioritize investment drive as part of his conversation with his counterparts around the world in order to advance his objective of aggressive economic development and diplomatic pursuit, as well as attract foreign direct investment into the country, as he did at recent G20 summit in India.
Briefing State House correspondents, special advisor on media and publicity to the president, Ajuri Ngelale, stated that President Tinubu will actively participate in two major summits at the UN, aside from the general debates of the Assembly. President Tinubu, according to him, will also meet with major chief executives and leaders of multinational firms cutting across multiple sectors of the economy as part of a series of crucial meetings and side activities that will have wide-ranging ramifications on the Nigerian economy.
Sunday, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be departing Abuja for New York to attend the United Nations General Assembly of 2023. Of course, aside from the engagements he's going to be having at the General Assembly, aside from the active participation that the Nigerian delegation will be engaging in at the Assembly, there are a series of very important side activities that will have wide-ranging ramifications on the Nigerian economy. The President, again, focusing in on his economic development diplomacy, will be having investment at the front and center of his conversations with his counterparts around the world. And these engagements include bilateral meetings on the sidelines with the President of the United States, with the President of Comoros, with the President of South Africa, with the President of the European Union Commission, with the Prime Minister of the Netherlands, with the King of Jordan, with the Algerian President, with the Brazilian President, and with the Spanish Prime Minister.
Similarly, the president will also be presiding over the Nigeria Small and Medium-Scale Business Summit to ensure that Nigeria keys in on opportunities that are being presented by Nigeria-owned small and medium-scale enterprises. The presidential spokesman said this is aimed at attracting foreign direct investment, jobs, and new tax revenues to the shores of the country. Uyi Agbomofoegbe, reporting for Global Television News.
Well, thank you, Uyi Agbomofoegbe, for that report. Also, the President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of Zacchaeus Adedeji as the new acting executive chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service. President Tinubu appoints says Honorable Zacchaeus Adedeji is hereby appointed as the acting executive chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service in acting capacity for 90 days before his subsequent confirmation as the substantive executive chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service for a term of 4 years in the first instance. The statement was read and signed by the President's Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, on Thursday. The President also directed the erstwhile FIRS Chairman, Mohammed Nami, who are served since December 2019, to immediately proceed on 3 months of pre-retirement leave, as provisioned by Public Service Rule PSR 120243, leading to his eventual retirement from service on December 8, 2023. And in line with President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, on Friday in Abuja gave out 10 cars to the third 10 third-class traditional rulers in the FCT. Sandra Akpa has more reports.
Today, we're giving out 10 vehicles to 10 traditional rulers recognized by government in order to support them to carry out their jobs in their various domains. And this is in keeping with Mr. President's agenda of renewed hope.
The FCT minister, during the event held at the premises of the Federal Capital Territory Administration, said the initiative is aimed at helping the traditional leaders carry out their respective duties effectively.
We believe that every sector, every system has a role to play. Particularly the traditional rulers have a role to play in terms of security. You know your communities better than anybody. You know those who live within your communities. So you'll be able to identify those who look like strangers where you stay. Police alone, no security agency can perform this function without the support of the traditional rulers. And so we believe that we must partner together to achieve this fight against insecurity. And it is also believed that the government must also encourage you and provide you with necessary logistics to do your work. And part of that is mobility. Mobility. I can't see how traditional rulers will be burdened taxes, entering public transport. That is unacceptable. Mr. President has directed that that cannot continue to go on. And we must do everything possible to make it convenient for you to do your assignments.
The minister also stated that allowances will be provided in addition to what the local government councils currently allocate to traditional chiefs.
As FCT too, Mr. President has directed me that we must also on our own provide how we can give some allowances, adding to whatever the local government is giving, so that you can be very comfortable.
The beneficiaries expressed gratitude to President Bola Tinubu for deeming it fit to provide them with cars for ease of discharge of their traditional responsibilities. Sandra Akpa, reporting for Global TV News.
Thank you very much, Sandra Akpa. In furtherance of its effort to secure the length and breadth of Nigeria as well as its territorial sovereignty for the nation's economic growth, plans are on the way by the Nigerian Army to rejuvenate its training and operational activities for effective service delivery. Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja stated this at the closing ceremony of the Chief of Army Staff Combined Second and Third Quarter Conference in Abuja. Kikelomo Okere has details.
The Army boss explained that the conference had afforded the Army the platform to review its training, operational and administrative activities that are directly related to national security in order to actualize desirable outcomes, adding that the briefs and presentation made during the conference has reinforced the task and clearly depicts the challenges ahead of the Nigerian Army.
Chief of Army Staff's quarterly conference participants, I believe this gathering has again awakened us to the reality that we have a job to do. The briefs we listened to and our deliberations on pertinent issues during this conference have reinforced the task ahead of us and clearly depicted that it's not going to be easy.
General Lagbaja also reaffirmed the commitment and capability of the officers and soldiers of the Nigerian Army in ensuring safe and secured environment for good governance and socio-economic development in collaboration with sister service and other security agencies. He further charged all formation commanders to calibrate their strengths to deal decisive blow on the nation's adversaries.
However, as I affirmed during the opening ceremony, I do not doubt your competencies and commitment to ensuring we join hands with our sister services and other security agencies to create the enabling environment necessary for good governance by the political leadership and economic prosperity for our people. Let me reiterate that we cannot afford to show a jot of weakness because the adversaries we fight are emboldened by weakness.
The Chief of Army Staff also presented checks to 10 maiden beneficiaries of Nigerian Army Personnel Insurance Scheme in an effort to provide financial security and support families of personnel who died in active service. According to him, the gesture was an expression of Nigerian Army's appreciation of the service and sacrifice of its personnel in defense of the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the nation. The Army Chief expressed appreciation to the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria for his intervention in repositioning the Nigerian Army for optimal operational performance, pledged the unalloyed loyalty of the officers to federal government and Constitution of Nigeria. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News, Abuja.
Thank you. It's still the News Prime on Global Television. Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa has called on Defense Police Officers' Wife Association, DPOA, to embrace unity and teamwork so as to surmount the challenges in the barrack community and beyond. The Defense Chief made this call when the association president led a delegation of the wives of the service on a courtesy call to Defense Headquarters in Abuja. Kikelemo Okere still brings us this.
DAPOA was created to unify all serving officers of the armed forces with that mandate to ensure socio-economic development in the barracks. The Chief of Defense Staff appreciated DAPOA for taking care of the barrack community, saying there is need to ameliorate the situation in the barracks as well as the less privileged.
That we can continue to foster that unity. We know the challenges of being in the military, being in the barracks. People outside look at us differently. So if on our own we also look at ourselves differently, then we are suffering from both sides. So we should learn to unite and work together as a team. It is only then that we can face the outside.
In her remark, President Defense Police Officers' Wife Association says the organization is committed to harness and redefine the potentials of all women in the military and police community, which enable a solid support system to their spouses, thereby contributing to better society. Adding that the organization intends to embark on initiatives to support women development and also put smiles on the less privileged people out of the barrack community, as well as visit to the wounded soldiers and provide aids for their recovery.
Visit to wounded soldiers to provide additional aids for their recovery, and being part of the armed forces building agenda, all channeled towards the non-kinetic support in the fight against terrorism. With all these identified target support areas, we know we cannot embark on this journey without your support, sir. I know that we can rely on your cooperation and extensive insight as we are fully ready to keep contributing our part in nation building.
Welcome back. The federal government on Thursday announced the successful restoration of the collapsed national electricity transmission grid across the country. Nigeria's Ministry of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, announced the successful restoration of the national electricity transmission grid and normal power supply has been restated across the affected areas in a series of tweets on his X handle. Also, Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa has called on Defense Police Officers' Wife Association to embrace unity and teamwork so as to surmount the challenges in the barracks community and beyond. The Defense Chief made this call when the DPOA President led a delegation for the wives of the service on a courtesy call to Defense Headquarters. Following the numerous challenges posed by the continuous and embrace of unauthorized persons on the various highways around the country in the guise of revenue collection, the Acting Inspector General of Police, IGP Olukayode Egbetokun, has ordered all staff commissioners of police to immediately commence the dismantling of such non-security points within their areas of responsibility. Kikelomo Okere reports that the acting IGP gave the order while meeting with strategic police managers in Abuja.
To the information received by the police operatives, some officers are engaging in mischievous activities such as the seizure of vehicles, collection of fines, and other unlawful activities in the checkpoint. In lieu of this, The Acting Inspector General of Police stated that to ensure accountability and transparency within the force, the Nigerian Police Force has taken steps such as reinforcing the IGP Monitoring Unit and the Complaint Response Unit based at the force headquarters to arrest violators and prosecute after dismantling the checkpoints.
We are equally aware of the challenge posed by the continued presence of unauthorized persons on the various highways around the country in the guise of revenue collection, who constantly constitute nuisance on the highways by obstructing the flow of traffic and engaging in mischievous activities such as the seizure of vehicles, collection of fines, and other unlawful activities. All state commissioners of police are hereby directed to immediately commence the dismantling of such non-security checkpoints within their areas of responsibilities and arrest all violators for prompt prosecution.
He maintained that directive has earlier been given to all state commissioners of police to CRU officers in their respective state command headquarters as part of the force commitment to combating corruption and improve professionalism in the Nigerian police force, adding that commissioners of police who are yet to comply are given a deadline of 3 weeks from today to do so. The Acting Inspector General of Police further highlighted some of the breakdowns recorded under his administration by the police force in the last 5 weeks.
Our committed officers have demonstrated relentless determination in upholding law and order through meticulously planned and well-coordinated operations driven by actionable intelligence. The Nigerian police force has effectively disrupted multiple infamous criminal syndicates involved in organized crimes, leading to arrests of 288 armed robbery suspects, 187 kidnap suspects, 198 homicide suspects, 59 suspects for possession of prohibited firearms, 168 suspects involved in cases of rape, defilement, and other sexual offenses, 265 suspected cultists, and 1,891 suspects for various crimes.
The IGP, however, declared that the police is poised to support the efforts of government by providing the needed security and enabling environment for all legitimate businesses and other economic activities in the country, adding that any attempt by scrupulous elements to sabotage the economic revival will be met with stiff opposition from the police force. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News, Abuja.
You've been watching Global TV News Prime, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on StarTimes Channel 276. Kindly follow us across our social media platform using a Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your TV screen. When the News Prime returns, US seeks $71 million for Libya flood victims following aftermath of Storm Daniel. We'll tell you about this and more right after this break. Please don't go nowhere. Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, this is still Global Television, bringing you a live broadcast of the News Prime from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Now on the horizon, the United States head of forces in Europe and Air Forces Africa has said the U.S. military has resumed operations in Niger, flying drones and other aircraft out of air bases in the country more than a month after a coup halted activities since the July coup. They removed President Mohamed Bazoum. The nearly 1,100 U.S. soldiers deployed in the West African country has been confined to their military bases. In the meantime, the junta has continually faced a series of severe constraints. The coup leaders have already put an end to the wiggle window system set up by Mohamed Bazoum to limit embezzlement of funds and corruption in the public administration. As a result, the revenue from customs and tax services is again paid into the public treasury account, which will allow the junta to freely plunder public funds. Also, United Nations Under Secretary General of Humanitarian Affairs and Emergency Relief Coordinator Martin Griffiths on Friday has said it is unable to determine the extent of damage done by Storm Daniel. After a storm on Sunday, 2 dams on Wadi Danner burst, unleashing tons of water and leaving nearly 4,000 people dead. 10,000 missing, an entire neighborhood in ruins. Roads that were already in a poor state were cut, and access to some affected areas became impossible. The UN has launched an appeal for more than $71 million to aid the hundreds of thousands in need.
Again, in Libya, where access to Derna is still so difficult, where there's a compounded problem of the problems of the dams breaking as well as the storm breaking from the sea. This is a tragedy in which climate and capacity has collided to cause this terrible, terrible tragedy. The problem, we're not there yet in Libya. We don't know the extent of the problem. The floods and the torrents and the destroyed buildings and the sludge still conceal the level of need and death.
The UNA chief also stated that the extent of the catastrophe in flood ravaged Libya was unclear as the country is divided between 2 rival authorities. Still on the forest, U.S. President Joe Biden's son, Hunter, has been charged with 3 criminal counts related to firearms possession. And in the indictment showed in a case that is likely to figure prominently in the 2024 election campaign. According to the indictment filed in the United States Federal Court in Delaware, prosecutors on Thursday accused Hunter of making false statements related to drug use in order to acquire a firearm in 2018. The indictment, which was brought by U.S. Special Counsel David Weirs, comes after a deal for Hunter to plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor tax charges and enroll in a program to avoid prosecution on a gun-related charge collapse in July. Hunter's legal troubles will no doubt play an outsized role in the 2024 U.S. presidential campaign as President Biden seeks re-election and a likely rematch with his Republican predecessor, Donald Trump, who leads the GOP's nomination race. The indictment also was made public just days after Republicans announced they would open impeachment inquiry into the Democratic president, in large part over his son's business dealings. Still, tens of thousands of people rallied in cities across Germany, including Berlin, on Friday at climate protests, urging Chancellor Olaf Scholz government to do more for environmental protection. Bearing posters with slogans like "System change, not climate change," or "I'll be in school if the planet was school." Around 12,000 people marched in Berlin alone in a demonstration organized by Fridays for Future movement. Huge crowd reaching 10,000 also turned up in major cities, including Hamburg and Munich. Once a regular event for students holding school strikes, the Friday rallies have become less frequent in Germany lately, with some climate activities turning instead to more radical modes of protests, such as holding sit-ins at busy junction on highway. Also, Nigeria forward Victory Boniface has won the Bodilist Player of the Month award for the month of August, beaten Bayern Munich striker Harry Kane to the prize. The Nigerian striker beats Kane and Alphonso Davies, Union Berlin's Kevin Brehans, Jonas Wind of Wolfsburg, and Benjamin Henrich of RB Leipzig to the prize, which was created by the DFL Dutchess Football League in 2018/2019 in cooperation with the Bundesliga official licensing partner. The award is decided through a two-stage selection process that consider both the players' individual performance data and a vote by fans and experts based on performances from match days 1 and 2 of the Bundesliga season. The striker performances also won him the Rookie of the Month award, meaning he is the first player since Erling Haaland in 2020 to be named Player and Rookie of the same month. And for more updates in sports, let's now join Sharon Ajay.
Super Eagles and Napoli forward Victor Osimhen has been nominated for the 2023 FIFA The Best Men's Player Award. The 24-year-old has been nominated for his second award in a week after making the 30-man shortlist for the 2023 Ballon d'Or Men's Player Award. Osimhen's nomination makes him the first Nigerian player to be listed for the FIFA Best Footballer Award, which was first won by Cristiano Ronaldo in 2016. Osimhen's achievement is the newest after being nominated for the Ballon d'Or Award last Thursday, breaking a 24-year-old jinx since Kanu Nwankwo made the prestigious list. Away from football, the executive chairman of Lagos State Sports Commission, Shola Ayekpeku, has assured Sporting Lagos FC of support as they prepare to make their debut in the Nigerian Premier Football League, NPFL, in the upcoming season. Ayekpeku talked on the unveiling of a newly equipped basketball court by the consortium of groups that comprise the National Basketball Association, French Agency of Development, and Dream Sports Africa. The Lagos State Sports Commission at the Campus Stadium in Lagos on Thursday said it will give Sporting Lagos the needed support, charging the management to strive to remain in the Premier League as it's crucial for its growth and brand. Sharon Ajay reporting for Global TV News.
Thank you very much, Sharon Ajay. And as we end Global TV's News Prime, here's a quick summary. President Tinubu has been scheduled to attend the United Nations General Assembly to drive investment into Nigeria. Nigeria's Apos Bank, the CBN, has an acting governor as well as management team and furtherance of President Tinubu's economic reforms. Finally, we told you 10 traditional rulers have been gifted cars by FCT administration. And that's it on Global TV News Prime, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across our social media platform using our Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your TV screen. On behalf of the production team, I am Judas Peters. Thank you so very much for watching. Good evening. I'll see you again.